Welcome everybody. Today's video is to set up a Couchdb master server. So we've seen already how to set up the virtual machine. So now I assume that your virtual machines are already running. So now I will SSH to my Couchdb master. So to do that, I'm gonna run the command vagrant SSH Couchdb master. So this gonna log me into the machine. So we are logged in inside the machine. So what we need to do now is to, as first step, to update all the packages, RPM packages that we have. But I've already done this in the machine already, since it's taking a little bit of time. So to be a little bit faster, this is already done. But the command is to run yum -y install update. So this will update. So another command that I've already run was also to install the development tool, which will provide packages required to compile, or if you want to build RPM. So this is also already installed. So this is already installed. So because it takes a little bit of time, so to skip that part and to be a little bit faster, so to be able to show you most of the tutorial. So now the next step will be to install some of the package that are required for Couchdb to run. So I'm just gonna install those packages. For instance, wget, curl, devel, and so on. So I'm gonna install these packages. So it's installing these packages. We have 8 packages. So the next step will be to once again install another list of packages that are required for Couchdb to run. For instance, Open SSL, Vim, Java, Fork. So we'll install those as well. So we'll wait until this is done. Yeah, so this is done. So the next thing will be to install a JavaScript engine. So we'll install SpiderMonkey, which is a JavaScript engine implemented by Mozilla. So we'll install that engine. So what we need to do is to run the command yaml y install gsdevel. This will install the SpiderMonkey. So it's downloading the packages and installing them. Awesome, this is done. So the next step will be to install Erlang. So Erlang is really important in this case because Couchdb is written in Erlang. So we need Erlang to be installed. So what we need to do, sudo yum y install Erlang. So here, as you can notice, we don't have any Erlang package available. So what we need to do is to install yum -y install EPL release. And this is the EPL release repo that provides some extra RPM packages. So now we will be able to run Erlang, to install Erlang, sorry. So yeah. So it's installing or fetching the DBs, and now it's installing, downloading, and now installing the packages. And after this is installed, so the next step will be to get the Couchdb source. And the source, what will happen to the source is that we will build the source, compile it, and install it. So basically that's what we need to do with the Couchdb source after this is done. So now it's installing. We have 103 packages required to be installed here. So we just have to wait a little bit. It's not really difficult to actually install Couchdb. but this take a little bit of time. If you want, you can build your own Couchdb RPMs, and every time you skip all this compiling and building and all these required packages. So RPM can be a way to be a little bit faster. And now what I need to do, as I said, I will try to get the Couchdb source. So I will come to apache.org, and here is the Couchdb where I can get the source. So now I will just go and wget Couchdb source. So now it's downloading the source for us. And after the source is being downloaded, so what we need to do as next step is to unzip that file. So what I need to do, I can show you that we have it here, Apache Couchdb, and the version is 1.6.1, and then we need to unzip it, fzv, and then Apache, and then we start extracting everything. And you can see we're gonna have a folder Apache Couchdb 1.6.1, and we need to get inside that directory Apache. So what we need to do now is to configure Couchdb source. So basically what will happen here is that we will make sure that the system is ready for us to start building Couchdb source. So now we will try to configure that. And the with Erlang option is that you need to find some of the Erlang headers. So that's why we have that flag. So we'll start configuring everything now. So as you can see, it is checking that the system has all this stuff before we actually start building. Yeah, that's done. So this is awesome. So let's start building now. So it's really simple. So we're just gonna run make, and make will execute every task that is defined in the make file. So we're just gonna run make. So after running make, so what we need to do next is to run sudo make install. So since make will build everything, and then make install basically will move everything to the right location. So we'll move the built Couchdb program, we'll move the libraries, and can move also the documentation to the right location. So, but for now we're still building. We're still building for now. So we just have to wait for this to be done. Yeah, it shouldn't take a while. So awesome, this is done. So what we need to do is to install now. So we're gonna run run sudo make install. So this will install everything. Copy everything to the right location, and this is done already, almost done. Awesome. So what we need to do, you can see here is saying you have installed Apache Couchdb. Now it's time to relax. So what we need to do next is to create the Couchdb user. So I'm just gonna add, and with no home folder, so I'm just gonna now create home and Couchdb. The reason we're creating this is to make sure that, because some of the Couchdb directory needs to have a certain permission, and the owner should be Couchdb. So what we need to do, we need to set up those ownership of those directories. So sudo shown, and it should be recursive Couchdb, so it means the permission will be applied to every subdirectory. So Couchdb, and then under user local, and we can have let me remember that. So we have var, and we have lib, the libraries, the Couchdb libraries, and we can have also the log, Couchdb logs, and we can also have run, Couchdb run. So this is done. So all those ownership are Couchdb now. So the next thing we need to do, we need to take care of the Couchdb starter script. The starter script will help us to start, stop, and restart Couchdb. So we need to link that file to where most of the CentOS 7 startup script are, the sys sees ini script, save ini script. So we'll just have to link that. So I'm gonna do the linking to that startup script, local etc rc couchdb to init, sorry, to etc init couchdb. So this is done. If you want, you can see the content of that file, etc init the couchdb. So you can see here this is a script that's gonna help us start and stop Couchdb. You can see here we have the start command, we have the stop, and we have the restart, and we also have the status. So this is great. So the next step will be to now start Couchdb. So I'm just gonna run sudo etc init the couchdb start. So Couchdb should be running. So as you can see, we have a confirmation message here saying starting Couchdb server, database server Couchdb. So that's great. So we need to verify this this is running. So I'm just gonna ps EUX grep Couchdb, and you can see Couchdb is running. This is awesome. So the next step will be, since Couchdb has a web interface called Futon, we just have to go to that web interface to make sure that the web interface is up and running. But to do that, since I have an IP address for this machine, I just have to know the IP address and go to my browser with the specific port, and and try to make sure that the web interface is running. And with the as for specific port, the default port should be 5984. So I'm just gonna try to see the IP address. So this is a utility that allows us to know what is the IP address of the machine, but it's not installed. So what we need to do is to install it. Sudo yum install net tool. So this will install if config utility. Is not coming by default, so we need to install it. So that's done. If config, we have that already. This is awesome. And if you want, for some reason you are not sure, you are not certain about the default port, you can always verify in the configuration file. So we're just gonna go to the configuration file and try to verify that. So we're just gonna do user local etc couchdb local.ini. So you can see here we have the default port. So let's take the IP address here, we copy this one, and we're gonna go to our browser and try to access the web interface 5984 and util to get to the Futon. As you can see, it's not responding, so this must be that the port is closed. So I'm just gonna verify the port to make sure that the port is not closed. So what you can do, you can go to your Mac machine here. I'm using a Mac. It can be your whatever operating system you have. So I'm just gonna run nmap to make sure that this port is open. So the IP address and the port 5984, and see what is happening. And you can see here the port is actually closed. And to open the port, I need to go to to the Couchdb configuration file, local ini sudo vim to open this, and have to edit the HTTPD section. So I have to uncomment these lines of code and replace this one with all interfaces. So this is gonna be 0 here and 0 here. So that's done. We need to do what we need to do now is to restart Couchdb. So I'm just gonna go etc init the Couchdb restart, and once again, if Couchdb, now you can see the message here saying that Couchdb has been restarted. So now we have to re-verify the port if it's open or closed. So we're just gonna do this, and we see that the port is open now. So the browser here so the web interface should work. So you can see now we have Couchdb installed. So this is awesome. So now that we have Couchdb installed, you can do the same step for Couchdb slave. So it's basically the same step. So what you need to do is to repeat everything we've been doing here. So you can spin up or set up the Couchdb slave master. So I'm not gonna do any video for the Couchdb slave master for the slave server, since it's pretty much the same steps. That's great. Thank you for watching. You can go down on the rest of the post and to see how I set up the HA proxy. So thank you very much for watching. If you have a comment, you have a question, you have a recommendation, don't forget to drop a lines of comment, question, recommendation on the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.